All right, Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs signed the #1 recruiting class in the 2024 cycle, and I think they are going to sign a monster class on offense and on defense too in the 25 class. But today we're going to talk about Georgia's offensive targets, who they're after the hardest, who are their biggest targets on offense, which targets are leaning Georgia's way, and which targets are maybe leaning elsewhere, right, guys, that I don't see at Georgia from what everything I've been hearing. So we're going to dig into all that. It's a giant video of UGA recruiting scoop. But first, I've got to brag on my guys at collegebronze.com. That's where you can get this bad boy right here. Listen, Father's Day is right around the corner. Graduation is right around the corner. I've got your gift right here. Don't worry about it. Get it right now. You can get this bad boy to be the next extended member of your family. You can click in that link below in the description and buy it today. You don't have to worry about Father's Day. I'm telling you, if your dad is like my dad, they say they don't want anything. But if you get your dad this bad boy right here to put in his office, front porch, back porch, he's going to love it. And if you buy it today, click the promo code DOGPOST and you get a discount. DAWGPOST. Get it right now. Use promo code DOGPOST to get a discount. Now, let's dig into it, right? Got to start with the quarterback, Ryan Montgomery. He's not elite, but he's a guy that Georgia liked. They gave him the green light to jump on board. They say, we're not waiting on Julian Lewis. We're going to take the guy that wants to be a Bulldog, right? And they took Ryan Montgomery. He's an accurate passer. He threw for 70%, over 3,300 yards, 38 passing touchdowns. He's the number 19 quarterback prospect in the country, but he's already on board. So let's talk about some of the guys that are uncommitted. Now, one guy at running back, I think may be trending Georgia's way a little bit. This is big news, right? This is really good news if you're a Georgia fan, and that's Ousmane Kroma out of Lee County. 6'1.5", 215, just a bowling ball with speed. He's agile, he's shifty, he's athletic, and I think he is possibly trending Georgia's way right now. Used to be almost a slam dunk to Florida State. Everyone thought he was going to Florida State, and he still could, but Josh Crawford, Georgia's new running backs coach, has some ties to Lee County. He is making Ousmane Kroma a big, big deal, as he should be. They already have Bo Walker on the commit list, a 3-star running back from Cedar Grove. But Ousmane Kroma, in-state running back, this is a guy that if Georgia pushes for, they really need to get. You can't let this kid from Middle Georgia leave the state and go to Florida State. He rushed for over 1,700 yards last year, 20 touchdowns. He's the number 4 running back in the country, number 69 overall athlete. And yes, they have one on board, and I know they took 3 running backs in the last cycle, okay? I get that. But those 3 running backs came to Georgia to play for Del McGee. He's no longer there. I would be shocked if one of those 3 did not hit the transfer portal at some point. So you could see Georgia take 2 running backs in this class, even though they did take 3 in last year's cycle. So at running back, they have Bo Walker, one more, room for one more, and I do think Ousmane Kroma, in-state out of Lee County, is a guy to know and could be trending Georgia's way. Right now, I think he is. Let's talk about wide receiver real quick. They got 2 big in-state targets. The 2 guys to know for sure more than anyone. Travis Smith Jr., I've talked about him already. I went to go see him at Westlake. He had a lot of great things to say about Georgia, where they sit in his recruitment, what makes Georgia special, his relationship with James Coley. All of that's over on DogPost, so you can read that. Make sure you sign up today. That's another great Father's Day graduation gift. Make sure that they have all the inside information they need about their Georgia Bulldogs and on the recruiting trail. So between this guy at collegebronze.com, that again, you can sign up or you can buy this bad boy right here in the description in that link below. But get yourself DogPost membership because they already know about Travis Smith Jr. and CJ Wiley, 2 6'4", 200-pound in-state receivers that Georgia really likes. They're both high on Georgia. Length, you can't teach it. You can't teach height. You can't teach size. You can put on more muscle, but you can't teach length. These guys have it. They've got ball skills. They're big targets. They're similar players. They can stretch the field vertically, but they're dangerous after the catch too. I think Georgia's trending in the right direction for both of those players. Travis Smith ranked as the number 93 overall prospect. CJ Wiley, number 57 overall. But Tyon Taylor is a wide receiver, 6 foot, another about 100 pounds, another kind of physical, muscular receiver. He's the number 82 overall prospect, number 10 wide receiver. He took a visit to Georgia towards the end of March, I believe March 23rd. Everything I heard after that visit said that they blew him away. Out-of-state kid, again, plays in Illinois, so, that's the Big Ten smash mouth football. But he loved everything about his Georgia visit from what I gathered. So that's an out-of-state receiver to know. Javon Boggs, number 26 wide receiver, former Ohio State commitment, I believe. I think he likes Georgia a lot. He's a Florida native. Of course, James Coley does a great job of recruiting the state of Florida. But he's ranked as the number 26 wide receiver in the country. But he put up monster numbers, He caught 93 passes last year in Florida for over 1,500 yards, 24 touchdowns. The kid can play, and he can make a lot of plays with his hands down the field, after the catch, screen game, return game, short passing game, vertical game. This is a guy who can do it all. He can play in the slot. He can play outside. Very impressive wide receiver that I think Georgia is one of the favorites for right now. Eugene Hilton Jr., I believe he's the son of T.Y. Hilton. I think T.Y. Hilton maybe had his son Eugene at like 15, 16 years old, I guess. Congratulations, maybe. I don't know. But Eugene Hilton is a kid who can fly. He's got great hands. He obviously has football genes. And he has a Georgia offer. Has taken a visit. I forgot what weekend that was, but he's very high on Georgia. If he has the green light to jump on board and commit, he's definitely a guy who I think could be on commit watch. Other receivers to know, Phillip Bell and Marcus Harris, they're both out of California, but they're high on Georgia. Thomas Blackshear, Edward Coleman are two wide receivers from the Savannah area that like Georgia. I don't know if they have the green light to commit just yet, but they're two guys to know. Cameron Sparks is from Chattanooga at the Baylor School. I think Tennessee and Georgia are both kind of dropping him down the list. So just a few other wide receivers to keep an eye on. But the four that I mentioned earlier, Tyon Taylor, Travis Smith Jr., C.J. Wiley, Javon Boggs, those are the four guys I think Georgia fans need to have a close eye on. Okay, we could talk about tight end before the offensive line because they have two of the best in the country. Ellis Williams out of Camden County, Ethan Barber out of Milton High School now. Was it Alpharetta? Made the trip across town to Milton. It's going to be tough to beat the Milton Eagles. C.J. Wiley and Ethan Barber catching passes from Luke Nickel, who's headed to Miami. 7A state champs. They're in 5A now. I think they're going to be the favorites, but they have two of the best freaks. Absolute freak tight ends who can catch the ball, both have size, both play like the ball like a receiver. Great hands, natural athleticism. I love everything they both bring to the table. They're two of the very best across the country. A-plus job for Todd Hartley. Now, let's talk about the offensive line. They got one on board, Mason Short, out of Evans High School. Big kid who's only getting better and better, will probably play guard. But David Sanders is a five-star offensive tackle they've liked for a long, long time. Thought this was a Georgia-Clemson battle. I keep hearing this. Ohio State might be the team to beat right now. I know Tennessee thinks they're in a really good spot for him. Clemson is still in the mix. I think South Carolina is trying to push. But right now, this seems to be trending away from Georgia somewhat heavily. We'll see if they can get him back on campus. But I think he's been to Tennessee like 3 times, and Ohio State at least twice. I think he'll be at Ohio State again this weekend. So that could be 3 times. He's been to Columbus, Ohio since he's been to Athens, Georgia. Not a great sign. But seeing who they brought in last year's class, what Stacey Searles signed in the 24 class, I get why a 5-star lineman's looking at Georgia and saying, I'm not playing anytime soon here. So from that point, I kind of get it. Josh Petty, another guy that I think is trending away from Georgia right now. Roswell native out of Fellowship Christian. Lean, but powerful and big. And I saw him play both ways last year in the heat. It was really impressive. But he's got a 5-star handshake, big hands, big size. He moves extremely well. He's a borderline 5-star for a reason, but I'm just not hearing as much Georgia with him, which is tough because he is an elite lineman from Roswell, Georgia that does look to appear to be leaning elsewhere. Juan Gaston Jr. is a massive, just mammoth offensive tackle from Westlake. If you've been watching this channel, you knew about him before anyone. Right? That's a fact. I've been talking about this guy for years and years now, how good he is. The rankings have it wrong. All of them have it wrong as it relates to his ranking. He's better than all the rankings that all the other outlets have him at. Just know that. He's not a top 100 player. It's criminal that he's not, because there's not 100 better players in the country better than this guy. So I'm right. Everyone else is wrong as it relates to Juan Gaston Jr. But y'all know that. Cortez Smith is an interior offensive lineman from Parkview that I think Georgia is trending in the right direction for. Could play guard, could play center. thick, physical, fundamentally sound. So he's a Gwinnett County lineman that I think could absolutely be in this class. Michael Carroll, interesting because I grew up with a Michael Carroll, but this is a Pennsylvania kid who has locked in an official visit to Georgia for that first weekend of May. So he's a guy, interior kid who can play tackle that I think Georgia fans need to keep a close eye on. And there's a few other names on the offensive line that I have written down, but I'm going to send y'all over to the website, over to Dog Post, to read the rest of those top offensive linemen they need to keep an eye on. But those are some big time targets on offense that you need to know about. I'm going to make a video about defense too, but quick reminder, get your Georgia statue, show your neighbors that you're a 5-star Georgia fan. Flags are cool, but they're outdated. If you're a 5-star Georgia fan, you want one of these bad boys on your front porch, letting all your neighbors know that you live in a doghouse, right? So get one for your dad, your grandfather, get one for a family member who's just graduated. I'm telling you right now, everyone's gonna love it, and you can get a discount with that promo code DOGPOST, DAWGPOST. Make sure you do that. Appreciate it. Hope you grab yourself one of these bad boys. Thanks for watching the video. I'll see you over on the website.